Welcome, everyone. We have already established a quorum and we are in open session, so we're going to begin our meeting. So at this point, I would like a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Could I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Communications.
No communications, and there was no request for public comment.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Making a Difference. John Paget.
Yes, and I don't believe he's here, but I still want to recognize him. Mr. John Paget is one of the custodians at Upper Elementary. Has been chosen as the Making a Difference Award winner for the district for this month. The middle school staff had upper staff had the following comments about how he makes a difference. Does a fantastic job as a custodian, is very kind to everyone, takes great care of the building. He's consistent and thorough in his work, ensuring the building is ready to be a warm learning environment for students. The building has been short-staffed recently, and he has gone above and beyond to make sure that the building is prepared every day for the students. So I just want to take a minute and thank him for everything that he's done. And we'll get this plaque. We did recognize him in the building last week in front of the staff as well.
Make sure you get that picture, giving it to him in the building.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, next up we have our community champion, and that's OPA.
It is, this month is OPA. So a few things. Congratulations to OPA for being chosen as a community champion. If you guys want to come forward, Brian's got a plaque for you. Led by Ms. Kathy Marble. Under her leadership as food service manager for the OPA team, they consistently go above and beyond to ensure that all the needs for the district are met. Very efficient, caring, in a professional manner. Kathy and her staff work tirelessly to provide nutritious meals while creating a welcoming environment for our students. Additionally, they'll donate meals and labor throughout the year for various events. We were the ones that implemented the after-school snack program that we currently do for our students. So on behalf of the district, we want to thank OPA and the staff for being the community champions.
Okay, next up is kind of what we look forward to is our academic focus. Ms. Melizzi and Mrs. Bradley.
You guys go over here. All right, well, they're getting set up. Mr. Hotmer and I are excited to have this crew here with Mrs. Bradley for 6th grade math. They are going to demonstrate some hands-on learning math focused on 2 of their learning standards, greatest common factor and least common multiple. So they're going to get things set up, and they are excited to get to present to you guys this evening. Mr. Hammer, do you want to introduce our friends?
Two ladies right here. We've got Sadie and then Raylan. And then starting on that side with the boys, we've got Brantley, Kyron, Declan, and Guthrie.
They're going to present greatest common factor using real life skills, okay? You're ready.
Dr. O and some friends are planning a hiking trip. They want to make snack packs of goldfish and M&Ms to take with them. They have 24 goldfish and 36 M&Ms. What is the greatest number of snack packs Dr. O can make if he has exactly the same number of goldfish and M&Ms in the snack pack?
All right, girls are going to show us how to do it on paper, and the boys are going to show us how to do it with the candy. All right, explain to us, Raylan, what you did.
So immediately I figured out that 24 and 36 were divisible by 12, and I divided them both, and I got 2 for 24 and 3 for 36.
Sadie, what did you do? Or is it a little different?
Immediately knew I could take out 2 since they're both even, so I got back to 18 and 12. And then I could take out another 2, and that got me 6 and 9, and then I knew those were multiples of 3, so I took out 3 and I got 2 and 3, and then I multiplied all of those and got 12.
So what was your greatest common factor, both of you girls?
12.
Boys, what did you guys get? How many snack packs did you boys get?
12.
Okay. Brantley, how many M&Ms are in each snack pack? Kyron, how many goldfish are in each snack
2.
pack? Is that what you girls got on your paper?
Yes.
Okay. Sadie?
Dr. Fagan said she had pretzels to put to the back. He gave Dr. O 48 pretzels. How many snack packs can they make now?
Okay. Okay, share with us, Raylan, what you got.
So just like before, I figured out that 48 was divisible by 12 and divided it, and I got 4.
So while Sadie's doing hers takes a little bit longer, but each person can do it differently. They do an upside down division to pull out the multiples, using the multiples to pull out their factors and have what they're divisible by to see how many of each are going to be in each snack pack. So Raylan, how many M&Ms are going to be in each snack pack?
2,
How many goldfish?
3,
How many pretzels?
4.
Boys, is that what you guys got? Okay, Sadie, show us what you did.
I once again knew that I could divide by 2 again, and that got me 24, 18, 12. Then I knew I could do it again, so I could divide by 2 again, and that got me 12, 9, 6. And since those are not all even, but they are divisible by 3, I could take out 3, and that got me 2, 3, and 4, which, once again, when you multiply all of these, you get 12.
So it's showing that even if they don't know their multiples of, or their factors of 12, they can still work with our lower numbers of 2, 3, and so on each one.
Great job.
And then the kids made snacks for each of you guys.
Dr. Fagan was wondering if you got a snack.
Yep.
You get the ones that they were, yeah,
Thank you very much.
Miss Bradley, do you ever
thank you so much.
find that some of the snacks are missing?
Yes. As we get started and the kids don't get the exact amount, I said, how many did you eat on the way back?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're just
It's
gonna
great.
slide it right into this bag, okay? Scoop it right in there. Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
That's true. You do get to
Started, I'm like,
Breaking into it, huh?
Scott, you go ahead and sit down.
I couldn't get there.
All right, so I do want to do Board of Education recognition for the month of October, month of March. At this time, I'd like to recognize and thank the Board of Education members for their continued dedication and service to our students, staff, and community. Serving on the board requires a significant commitment of time, thoughtful decision-making, and a genuine desire to support the success of our students. Our board members work collaboratively to establish district goals, oversee policies, and ensure that resources are used responsibly to provide the best possible educational opportunities for our students. We greatly appreciate their leadership, commitment, and willingness to serve the students of the community. So thank you very much for everything you do. The portfolios are from central office. Upper's gift, I don't, Corey wasn't able to make it, so we have Upper's gift there. Miss Melizzi, I believe each building has something. Miss Melizzi, I'll go with you first. I saw you first.
There we go. All right, so middle school, we got a customized cutting board for you guys because we think you're a cut above the rest. So Mr. Homer's got those to pass out. We got them, I believe it's from the Branded Boutique just downtown, so we wanted to support a local business. They can be a cutting board or they could be like a little display if you want to display them to kind of show your bulldog pride. So middle school says thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
If I don't read, I forget half the things I want to say.
And then where do you want Cole's at? Do you want?
Just leave it with Dr. Fagan over there and we'll get it to you.
Thank you.
He showed up.
Yeah.
Ms. Bugan.
We went a little bit different route. We have pictures of the old 1912 building. Just to kind of symbolize like how far we've come as a district. We are making a lot of change, but thanks to board support and decisions, we've come a long way.
Thank you for calling.
Now faster too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did. Yep.
Still?
I think I was the last year there.
Pretty cool.
I went to school.
Mine has a little bit of a story behind it. So Mr. Armstrong is not here today, but this is a motto that he loves. And so in the bag is a t-shirt that says "Be a Better Human," and that came from basketball analyst Ernie Johnson. And he did a talk with the Alabama Crimson Tide football team. And that's kind of where this whole motto came from. And we did this as a back to school staff motto just to kind of live by. We want our kids to always grow up to be better humans. So hope you guys enjoy those. There's a QR code on the tag if you want to watch the video that takes you to Ernie Johnson and his message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Remember Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, you will. This was his favorite. He was bummed that he was not here to present it to you.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'll wear that.
Smart. Thank you.
And Miss Lorenz.
We're getting spoiled.
I know, I'm like.
So we wanted to thank you guys so much for helping with the functional living program, foundational living program. There's a little tag that says these items are lovingly created by the students in the foundational learning program using plenty of patience, laughter, and pride in their work. High school did the cup for their Bulldog Brew. OUE did the bread because Miss Fletcher's an amazing cook. Middle school did jelly. They made jelly this year, so they made jelly again for you guys. Macquarie made Early Childhood made apple butter. The kids loved making the apple butter, so they made it again. And then Macquarie made honey butter because they made that at Thanksgiving. The cold items are in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, it's cold. And we can just pick it up when we walk out.
Okay. There's gonna be. There's gonna be an extras. I put one for Cole over there. Dr. O. Yeah.
John, I think it's so cool that they're learning how to can stuff. It's kind of like a lost art, so I love that they're learning how to do that. Awesome.
And the PCs found these and they were so cute.
So cute.
Thank you, Brad Colson. Good man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See how quick Ryan.
Next up is our finance report.
I'd like to apologize on behalf of the finance department. Apparently, we like to save our pennies instead of buying gifts. I don't think that's ever been a tradition, anyway. Just a few quick things. First of all, district participates in several programs that are driven by either state or federal grant. Over the last 2 weeks, well, guidelines of the grant, you can't seek a payment until you've substantiated and shown your expenses. So over the past 2 weeks, we have submitted pay requests for just over $385,000 in Title I, Special Education, Part B, School-Age Child Care, CTE Enhancement, and CTE 50/50 grants. Number 2, just an update really on revenue, kind of pluses and minuses. Revenue is up a tick because the state is making the transition to the formula being driven by membership as opposed to weighted average daily attendance. It's helping us in a district our size. However, we are seeing decreases. Transportation is being prorated down to 94.6, I believe, %. And Prop C funding is also down. Next, we're notified about 3 weeks ago via email that due to a very high demand, significant number of requests, it's called a high needs grant. It's part of our special education funding. You submit an application for it at the beginning of the year. Our application was initially funded at $494,196, which is based on actual expenditures for this year. 2 weeks ago, we received a prorated amount of about 66.4% of that. 328,000 as opposed to 494,000. So they let us know about a week before they sent the payments out. Did they make that up later, or?
No,
Okay.
not likely. They said it was due to the increased demand on the fund.
Application for Lafayette County Children's Services Fund for the 26-27 fiscal year grant has been submitted. We are in year 3 of 5 for the life cycle of our 2-officer grant. So we'll be getting 40% of those expenditures for the next coming year. We are in year 5 of the I guess it would be the very first grant we submitted for 1 officer. So we'll be getting 20% of that FTE funding for this year. And last but not least, in February, we received the corrected railroad and utility tax. Last year, an error on the county's part, I believe. Our portion of state assessed railroad and utility taxes were sent elsewhere, and we just recently, in our last transmittal, got those funds completely for this year, and the ones that we were not given last year. So I was actually going to ask you about that tonight. So. Were you? Yeah, that's awesome that we got it. Yeah. We didn't have to, pursue it. So
No, and Jessica, the county clerk, worked with Desi, and got us, Desi wanted to do it over a 2-year period, and
Jessica said, we'd like to do it over a 1-year period, and
Yeah.
that's how we got it, so we're
That's-
thankful for
yeah,
that.
We gotta take care of
Did
it.
we budget for recovery of those in this fiscal year?
We didn't include it, but we knew it was coming.
So was that the one where they sent it to Santa Fe?
And Wellington.
And Wellington, yes, sir.
Okay, I know it has nothing to do with what we need to know, but how did those districts, did they have to give the money back, or? how-
So DESI allowed them to, basically, they got that amount deducted from this year's state assessed railroad and utilities, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Any
you.
other
Yes, sir.
questions? Next up is our instruction report.
Right, I'm excited to share all the fun teaching and learning things that we've been up to the last couple of weeks. On February 19th, so a couple weeks ago, Dr. Janie Pyle with the Show Me Curriculum Administrators Association, aka SMCAA, came and provided our building principals with professional development on instructional leadership. This was an extremely powerful professional learning session for all of us, and it is truly, I think, going to make an impact on knowing how much influence us as leaders truly do have on instruction inside classrooms, and how we can and need to be leading the instructional change for our district. The professional development we received corresponds directly with the best practice of DCI, so they are working together. So Dr. Pyle, who presented this professional development to us, will focus on working with our administrators and looking at our curriculum, while DCI is focused on working with our teachers. So they both mingle, but both have the primary people that they're working with. On February 24th, we had a CSIP meeting with our CSIP team. At this meeting, proposed changes were presented to the team in each priority area. Team members were given the opportunity to communicate and collaborate, share their thoughts, get their feedback on proposed revisions. So at our next meeting, the team will finalize proposed changes and be ready to present to you a new CSIP at the May regular board meeting. I do want to give a shout out to our kindergarten through 5th grade math curriculum teachers and our elementary instructional coach, Jenny Oksher. For the last few weeks, we've been able to meet and review our new instructional math resource, our iReady Classroom Math. We've reflected on this year's implementation, ensured that we are going to get through all of the standards before end of year assessment comes, and then was also able to complete next year's pacing guides with standards alignment, again to ensure we are hitting every standard, but not only hitting it, but also giving time for students to master these standards and skills. So this is a huge success, so I wanted to make sure to highlight the hard work that those teachers and Jenny put in. And then in the federal programs realm, the McKinney-Vento tiered monitoring has been submitted and approved through DESI as well as foster care, so those are checked off. We are in compliance with those. Currently, we're working on English language learners, migrant learners to submit, and it will soon then begin time to upload for April for Title I. So lots of tiered monitoring that we are submitting in the next couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we have special services report.
Okay, so it's been a relatively quiet month for the special education department, allowing our staff and students to focus on instruction, programming, and upcoming events. On February 13th, our OHS and OMS students participated in the Cupid Classic in Higginsville. The students represented our district well, and they demonstrated outstanding sportsmanship throughout the event. We were proud of their continued involvement in inclusive extracurricular opportunities. We also hosted our first Sweetheart Dance for the FLP students, serving students from early childhood through 12th grade. The event was a success and provided an opportunity for students across grade levels to come together for a day filled with dancing, activities, and snacks. It was truly a special event that celebrated our students and fostered connection across programs. Currently, we're preparing for the Job Olympics, which will be held on April 8th at Berry Acres. Our students are actively working on job and life skills in anticipation of this meaningful and engaging event. As always, we appreciate the continued support of our staff, families, and the Board of Education.
Thank you. Next up, Roger, operations report.
All right, a few projects we've got going on. So OHS Commons recently got some new lighting. You may have noticed when you came in, it's brighter and whiter in there, so that's good. A few things in progress. The ag electrical project, rewiring of the shop, that's scheduled for the remainder of this week. And then they'll finish up any loose ends there may be on Monday. The middle school roof project, the materials have been secured and we're awaiting dates from Cornell on the install. I've got the high school asphalt repair in the front drive, so on the for the parking spots in the drive, there's a lip there. There's been some settling. I've got 2 prices and expecting a third to remedy that problem. So once we get that third price, we'll proceed with going ahead and getting that fixed out in the front here. Also, we're going to start updating interior lighting around the district to LED. Kind of as we have bulbs and fixtures go out, we're going to be replacing those with LED fixtures as opposed to fluorescent. Some upcoming things. The foundation plans to donate funds for some projects in the auditorium here at the high school. Working on pricing for possible items such as floor surface, curtains, lighting, projection screen. We won't be able to do all of those things, but they have obligated some funds to us to do that, and we'll get some pricing to take back to them at the May meeting, so we're excited about that. Food service, so on February 24th, we had our DESE administrative review. That went very well with no concerns initially noted during our exit interview. Once I get the final report, once they provide that, I'll give official details to the board. The traffic study, so IDS has been in touch with MoDOT and does expect that back this week. Engineering firm and Ariel can confirm with them that they would expect that to be complete this week. And lastly, today was our bus inspection, the annual Missouri State Highway Patrol inspection. All 23 buses inspected passed. We did have, I think we'll see, again, I don't have the official report, but we'll see a 96% pass rate, I believe, because we had one of the 8-way lights went out during inspection, but so that's a fail, but they fixed it and then it's re-inspected and it passed. So there's 2 others there on site that either were on a trip or something. They're scheduled to go to a different location either later in the week or this week. So that was great. And kudos to Echo Ride and their mechanical staff to get that done for us.
And that did include the bus and school bus, correct?
Yes, that was 23 was our bus, our district. We own one.
We own one.
Yeah.
Roger, I just thought of this. I was over at the tennis court parking lot the other day, and it's kind of not doing so hot.
Yep.
What's our plan over there?
Well, that's on our radar.
Okay.
There's not a plan, so to
Yeah.
speak, but that's been kind of going downhill really since the tennis court project, and we knew that bringing the heavy trucks in when we did that project. It's like, okay, some of these spots in the park, and the worst of those spots are from that project, where they're filled with gravel and things. And we're keeping an eye on it, and we got a price last year when we did the upper parking lot. We got a price to do a portion of it, but just financially at the time, it wasn't the right time or right price to dive into it. So we're keeping an eye on it.
Okay, any other questions for Roger? All right, next up is our superintendent's report.
Thank you. Building reports on your packets for your review. Some upcoming events we've got going on. Spring conferences are happening this week. We've got spring break next week. Annual spring fling is Friday, March 27th at McQuarrie Elementary. I believe that's from 4 to 7 that afternoon. The Board of Education personnel meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 30th. We do have an additional McQuarrie community meeting on March 31st at 6 o'clock at McQuarrie. And then we're scheduled our last professional development day of the year is on April 6th. Legislatively, there's several pieces of legislation that are currently being considered that will, depending upon how they go, could impact funding for schools. The State Budget Committee is meeting right now, and in consideration of any changes from the governor's recommendations. There are state financial challenges right now that as they look to reduce spending of approximately $2 billion over the next 2 years due to slow revenue growth, tax policy changes, and general budget growth. Educationally, the governor's budget recommendations to flat fund the foundation formula, which they're considering that fully funding. Return transportation funding to last year, which is approximately $15 million less than what it is this year. Maintain funding of the teacher salary grant and flat fund for career ladder. So seeing some budget constraints, and I know that Dr. McLaughlin had referenced some of those too. Prop C money that he made reference to, that revenue being down is a direct relation of, it's based off sales tax. So when you see those reductions, you're seeing less sales of just goods and services.
Sir, correct me if I'm wrong, but when they talk about fully funded formula, they're talking about the fully funded formula from 2008?
No, fully funded from 2025. So basically, what they are, as it is now, as it was presented when he gave his budget, fully funding based on 2005, that dollar value being continued at that amount without reducing it. So there could be factors in the budget that change from school to school that would change the amount of revenue, positive or negative.
But am I right in thinking that them saying it is fully funded is really not fully funded at today's dollar value? It's fully funded at 2005's dollar value.
As compared to when it was fully implemented, which was 2014, if you were to do that comparison dollar value, you're correct.
I just wanted to make that point.
And then, I'm sorry, the flat funding, this definition of flat funding.
No additional revenue, or no additional,
From year to year.
right, correct.
So career ladder is somewhat the same thing.
Well, it is, yes, flat funding, so if additional people, it started out, they
I
pay
understand
60, we pay 40, so if additional people jump into that pool, it could be, they're now paying 58% and we're paying 42%. Or even the other way, if people jump out, in theory, flat funding would increase the amount. Several items happening right now, a lot of legislative things happening.
Okay. John?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Discussion items. Elementary building update.
Dr. Faith.
All right, just a few things again, really just kind of an update on our informational meetings that we've been out and about. So, has been presented at the Chamber of Commerce. We're scheduled up for the Rotary Club and the Optimist Club, as well as the Spring Fling, March 27th. And then we have two remaining dates for the community as well. March 31st, I should go in order, I guess. March 17 with the Mayview Lions Club in Mayview, and then March 31st back at Macquarie for our final presentation. So overall, the people who have attended have asked good questions, had good discussion about that, and so we just encourage anybody else who wants to find out more about the project or the specifics just to join us either on the 17th or the 31st.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. Next up, we have our Success Ready Student Assessment Pilot.
Yes, all right. So last summer, there was a grant that it was a federal program that states could apply to get a grant to begin creating a new state assessment. So Missouri was awarded with that grant. So since this summer, DESE has teamed up with the Student Success Ready Student Network, which we are a part of now, and in partnership, they have been creating a new statewide assessment long-term goal to recreate how we currently assess our students at the very end of the year. So currently, right now, they do have a small, very, maybe two handful of school districts in the state that are piloting this new assessment. So they did send out an application for school districts to apply to pilot the new assessment next school year. This pilot would be for 4th grade in ELA and 5th grade in math. So it would, if we were selected, it would take place of the end of the year MAP test for those 2 grade levels and subjects. So the main difference between this new pilot assessment and our traditional MAP test is traditional MAP test, we teach all year long, and then we wait till the very end of the year to see if our students mastered these skills. The new assessment is we would teach a unit, 2 units, assess, see if they got it. Then we could, we could intervene and figure out if a kid or if students don't master that content, we can reteach it right then and there. So we're not waiting till the end of the year to do an autopsy report. We are assessing after each unit. So we did, like I said, we did apply. We put our name in the hat. Fingers crossed that we hopefully do get selected to do this pilot, because I think it will show that student learning does occur, and I think it's going to show a better representation of how our students do perform on state standards. So, and in your packets I did, last spring I did go to an informational, they were doing like a road show, that they were just getting what this new assessment would look like in front of educators. So the images that I put in there were from that roadshow presentation. So math, they're just different clusters. So school districts have the option to select which clusters when they're given. So we just redid our math unit pacing guides for next year. We would put the MAP assessment at the end immediately following when we've finished teaching that unit. So I'm hopeful, hopefully. So again, fingers crossed, we should find out in the next couple of weeks if we were selected.
Have they advised on, if we're selected for the pilot, how 4th grade ELA and 5th grade math would factor into our APR?
It would take place of those scores. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
How long do you anticipate this pilot process to take, like a few years before they implement something?
So on your last page in the packet, they did have a tentative timeline. So right now they're in the spring of 2026 small scale pilot. Next year would be a the schools that did it this year would do more grade levels and more subject areas, while bringing in more districts to pilot the ones that did this year. So potentially by 29-30, it would be a full implementation for the entire state. So being able to get ahead in the game on the pilot would just help us kind of be proactive in getting it going. And being selected in the pilot, they do provide support, education. They help us implement it. DESE will work alongside us to implement it correctly.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on discussion items is crowdfunding procedure.
Thank you. In the past, we've had staff members that have put out crowdfunding requests for items, often at the beginning of the year. And seeing some of these, some items are things that the schools should be providing, the district with district funds. Additionally, some items are portrayed to be in need when really they are not required for district academic initiatives. So moving forward, the procedure that's in your packet will be put in place, as well as the approval form. So if a teacher wants to do a crowdfunding on behalf of their classroom or organization, they would need to follow this procedure and submit that form that's in the packet as well. So just putting that on your radar in case someone were to say something.
You're quite good at that.
It's more and more every year.
You're talking like the Amazon carts, like
Wish list, things like that.
So if the school district determined that it wasn't quote a need, would we still potentially allow that teacher to do that?
I don't want it to be portrayed as we have to have it to support district.
It's like you would like to do it, yeah.
That would be a different message.
I understand. Okay.
So are you saying that it's becoming like the Wild West?
Kind of. And I just want to get in front of it before it does get that.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common here.
questions for John? Okay, next we have speech language pathologist salary consideration.
Yeah, I was approached about considering an increase in the pay scale for the district speech language pathologists. The detailed information is included along with some salary comparisons in your packet. Currently, these positions are paid at the master's column on the district salary schedule. And in doing research with other districts, most of them are paying that position above the master's column size. That was a very common thing when I did market research in the position.
Any questions for John?
It seems to me like, are you saying that, are you recommending an adjustment be made?
I think it would not be out of line to do that.
Right. That's what it appeared to me as well.
Yeah.
But this isn't an action item.
Well, a lot of times things are presented as a discussion first, so give everyone the opportunity.
I appreciate them feeling confident enough to have the discussion.
For sure.
Well, if you've been around long enough, you don't want to go back to the days when we were going through speech pathologists all the time and couldn't get any because they didn't want to come to Odessa.
We could probably, we contract out. Jonna would know more specifics on how much. We contract out a lot right now. We have 2 in the district. We tried to hire another one 2 years ago or
2 years ago.
2 years ago that we worked with on a contract, and that individual selected to stay working on a contract. So they're very, very hard to find for any district because they a lot of times will stay in the private industry.
So potentially, if we did decide that we were gonna raise this pay, then we could be looking at getting rid of some of these contracts at the going rate.
If we could attract more,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but there's not a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
But
But potentially, we might be able to if we do raise this pay, so realistically, depending, I don't know what we're spending on contract hours, but if we did get rid of some of those contract hours, we may be able to add a third person, pending we could find one, and increase the pay of the current 2 ones and then not, or the current 2 that we have.
when we looked at it a couple years ago, dollar wise, it was about a wash. But what the difference was, we were going to have that person for 40 hours versus contract time was like somewhere around 25 to 30 hours a week is what. So that dollar value was about the same, but we would have them for more hours.
But that was on the current pay, right? Not a
Right.
increase.
Right. So could that have alleviated some of the other contracted out? Those are things that we just have to work through. But I know I would have a conversation with that individual again to say, hey, would you be interested? And maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't.
And that would be fine, but also if we did pay more, if we can, it would open us up to the opportunity to potentially maybe hire one and then not having to pay those contract.
Right.
Well, it would also allow us to keep the ones that we have instead of, just like teachers who go up the road all the time as well, as we all well know.
Do the contracted speech paths have to live in the district?
We don't have a requirement for employees to live in the district.
Jonna, can you tell us how much we pay per hour for a speech path contracted? Is that okay, or is that?
No, the contracts are for next year in there, it's $70.
$70. I want to put it on the record.
How are those contract positions posted, or how are we filling those types of positions?
When we're filling them, right now, we've got a pretty good pool of people we've been working with the last few years that have been able to meet our need. Sometimes that adjusting those hours up or adjusting them down, and they've been very good about that. We did enter a contract with a new one, I believe it was last year, and Jonna reached out to potential candidates and found that one.
It's just individuals though, not like the company that we're contracting with?
At this point, it's individuals.
Individuals.
Yeah. Now, I do know of districts that work with companies.
Like a CERC or
Right.
whatever, yeah.
With a provider that provides that service.
Okay.
And I'm grateful that we have those contracts that we do, you know, and
Right.
that way we can get the kids what they need. I'm very thankful. I don't want it to come across as like, oh, we'll just get rid of them and hire someone new, like, not at all. I am grateful for having those people do that.
Absolutely, they do a good job.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have licensed practical nurse salary consideration.
So this was another one that I had been approached to consider. And so I again did the market research, and you can see on the second page there were, you know, by far we were the lowest. A little history about that, and I was talking with Dr. Fagan the other day, when these salaries were put together, I don't believe we had an LPN in the district. I think they were all either just a health aide or a CNA. So at the time, not being from the health field, lumping that LPN, CNA was, I put them together, so it would have been my doing. But you can see from that would be another one that if we're going to consider a recommendation of increasing, and we have a great group of people now that do a really good job. They didn't come saying, you know, we're going to quit if we don't get it. That wasn't it at all. You know, they're community people that have been around for a long time, and you know, they just asked me to look at it, said I would, and I'm showing it to you. So.
They got a case, don't they?
Yeah, they do. 100%.
And these are people that are serving as like school nurses?
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, when we put this together 5 years ago, I don't think we had an RN. We've always had an RN, and that's a different salary schedule than what this one is. And it aligns actually pretty close with what a lot of the other districts are. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but we didn't have. I think we just had health aides beyond that. In the other districts.
You'll bring us back at a later date with some, okay. Thank you. Okay, next up we have job descriptions.
So the job descriptions for parents as teacher and elementary library media specialist have not been updated for a long time, and with the recent personnel changes that we're going to have, it's appropriate time to update those with current responsibilities and expectations. They're presented for discussion and would come back before the board in April for approval. I did work with Ms. Lorenz on the PAT. We're making some changes to that. Currently, it's at the query, but we're going to, because we're talking about early learners, so we're going to move that position up and put them in with early childhood. It aligns right there. We're also moving that supervisory responsibility over to Ms. Lorenz. That was something that she wanted to take on as well. So making some of those little tweaks, and so we worked through that. Also worked with the elementary administrators on the library media specialist changes.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, next up we have high school senior off-campus lunch.
So I've asked Ms. Fugit to stay around in case you had questions. She was, and correct me if I'm wrong along the way anywhere, she was approached by senior class leadership about, they had submitted a proposal which I've attached with guidelines for consideration on open lunch for seniors. This is something that they would like to start during the fourth quarter. So if that's something the board would like to see, I would ask you to move that as an action item and take a vote on that. But she is here to answer any questions you might have. I will say I did reach out to council with regards to the guidelines, and we are obviously well within our rights to do that.
How long is lunch? It's been a while.
How long was lunch?
So the kids wanted to do this during the Bulldog break that they have now. So they have that 50-minute period, and a lot of the seniors are ready to go anyways. So that's when they would like to do it, on days that we have it. So we have one day a week that's a no travel day where they do their grade checks. They would not leave then. It would just be every other day of the week. And they came up with the requirements of having 90%. They came up with the consequences of what happens. They've been wearing me down on this for about a year now. So they came up with everything. I said, if you want to do it, we got to present it, but come up with the criteria, and they did. And they were probably harder than I might have been. But they came up with it, and they're good with it, and they know that there's a lot of privilege to that and safety concerns from our end. So yeah, they would just do that during the Bulldog break, during the 50-minute period that they have built in.
And I'm assuming since you brought it, you and Mr. Shepherd are on board. Yeah.
And seniors only. I don't know if I said that.
Do we know of any other schools that, you talk to that do it? Or any examples?
I don't know of any other schools in our area that do the Bulldog break system where they could. So like without that, they're eating during 6th hour and it's 20 minutes.
Okay.
Versus now they have 50, but we got that at a conference from a school in St. Louis. So I don't know anyone in the area that has the system that would more so allow for it. Yeah. And the kids know, I mean, they'll go to McDonald's and all of that for the first while, and then they'll probably start eating lunch at a friend's house because they're tired of spending their own money and doing all that. So they'll just kind of use the break to get away sometimes, or go home and get their practice gear and not have to sign out or whatever they need to.
Thank you.
Take a nap, whatever.
Yeah. So this doesn't require their parents to check them out as it would in the past?
So not daily, not every time that they go.
Okay.
When their parents sign the waiver, that's their way of saying, like, when my kid initiates going, they have my permission to leave.
Okay.
The kids sign out every day. They sign out and sign in. And on their sheet, the first one, we had them put their cell phone number so that we know if they have not checked back in, we can call them quickly and say, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you need us to come get you? Did your car break down? What happened? Are you coming back? And they were all good with that too. So their parents would sign open permission when they sign the waiver. So,
And I'm assuming that if we approve this, this would be with the understanding, like, if this becomes problematic.
Yeah.
That
It would be
it would,
remote.
Yeah. And they
for
have,
everyone, not, I mean, if it was like systematic, like, a lot of problems with a lot of kids,
Yes.
we would just be
Yeah.
like, okay, this isn't a good idea.
yeah. And they know that if everyone below them gets Bulldog break suspended, and we're not on that, they don't get that privilege either. So it encourages the leadership on that to take care of stuff while you're here.
Yeah.
It also helps get a good chunk out of the building so we can figure out those problems that are going on during Bulldog break too. So,
When you said that the requirements they put up were probably more difficult than what you would have done, I think
Yeah.
that speaks to, hopefully it'll all work well.
yeah. And we have, we pulled 7 kids from every walk of life at the end of last year. They named themselves the Civil 7, and they are kind of like our building leadership, but we've been asking them, what do you want senior year to look like? How do we get that? They were our voice a lot on Bulldog break, and consequences with that too. So they have a good pulse on what their class can handle, and they know that they would be the pilot one, and if they don't do what they need to, it will go away for a while, if not ever. They're aware of the responsibility they're asking for, so they did pretty good.
And Bulldog break, I mean, generally has been successful, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of it right at the beginning was a lot because you have a lot of transition to the high school and different expectations and your friend groups changed, and that's drama and a lot there. Right now we're trying kind of a modified block where it's 25 minutes, not 50, to kind of see if we can still do PLCs and get all of that stuff in with a shorter time and then put that time back in the class. But I don't know what that'll look like yet. But so far it's been pretty good. We've had to take it a few times, and when we do, the kids, we probably get quite a few emails. When do we get this back? They'll pass us in the hall. Is it today? No.
It's been more like trash.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of discipline related. More so like you gotta pick up after yourself, you gotta pick up after your peers, you gotta start stepping up and saying, hey, you left your tray, stuff like that. Yeah. Yep.
I appreciate Mr. Shepherd's and the teachers, willingness to be a little unconventional. If this is what's good for our kids, then, just because nobody else is doing it doesn't mean it's not right. So.
It's a good break to see them outside playing kickball when the weather's nice and they're in classrooms a lot more because they realized, wow, I can go in there and she will help me and I'll be the only one in there and she'll help only me for 20 minutes. So they're picking up on the system as it was designed. So
it's good stuff.
No, it would be if the board's in favor of it, so because they want to do it in the first quarter.
If we made a motion now,
I'm in favor.
you gonna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve, let me go to the top of this and make sure I get this right.
Just say
High
so.
school senior off-campus lunch.
I'll second.
Thank
We have a
you.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging
Thank
around.
you.
Keep us posted on how it goes.
I will. They'll be glad. They've been asking me all week. Do we know yet? Like it's Tuesday.
Okay. Next up, we have foundation request.
Yeah, the foundation has requested the district to purchase invitations, reservation cards, tickets, event programs, and postage for the gala. Total cost for that is $673. And again, if this is something the board wants to support, then a motion and a second would be needed.
I'll make a motion.
Go for it.
To fulfill the foundation post.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I'm an abstention.
Yep.
Cool, stand too.
Next up, we are in action items now, so summer school salary.
Yeah, so we briefly discussed this last month when we talked about summer school. And we had talked about high school going to virtual classes only. So the administration has met and discussed the summer school salary with respect to that virtual piece. Because this will take additional time and effort to develop the courses virtually and pacing guides for that, we are proposing a one-time stipend amount of $1,000 per course that would go on top of their summer school stipend. So currently the summer school stipend is $3,600. So this first year, for everyone that is developing a course, they would get an additional $1,000. Once that course is developed, this district owns that curriculum pacing guide, so the next teacher, if it wasn't the same one, wouldn't have to develop that, wouldn't have to reinvent it, it's already there. So they would just get the regular teacher stipend for teaching the class virtually.
So the teacher would share that curriculum with admin or?
It would, Amanda would house it.
I see.
And on copyright.
Right. So the recommendation would be to approve this.
I will say so moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Cole raised his hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up, we have superintendent goals.
These goals were submitted for review at the February board meeting, and at this time I'm requesting them to be board approved.
Any discussion on the superintendent's goals? If not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you.
Yep.
Next up, we have established the Board of Education reorganization meeting.
So we do this annually in March, establishing that the April regular board meeting, which is on the 14th, would be the reorganization meeting.
So moved.
All in favor? Coles, yes. Okay, at this point, I need a motion to conduct an executive session, including any record of vote at the next scheduled meeting pursuant to statutes contained in chapter 16.021 RSMO. Roll call.
Aye.
And aye. And I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.